I've been working in men's health for over 30 years, and I thought I had seen just about everything. But a few years ago, something happened that genuinely caught me off guard, not with a patient, but with myself. I started noticing small changes. Nothing dramatic at first. I'd wake up feeling a little more tired than usual. My energy wasn't quite there in the morning, and one thing I didn't expect, that natural response, down there, it just wasn't as consistent anymore. No pain, no diagnosis, just this quiet sense that something was off. And I remember thinking, this is what my patients have been trying to explain to me all these years. So I did what most men do. I tried to fix it the obvious ways. I adjusted my workouts, cleaned up my diet, added supplements I'd recommended for years. Some things helped a little, but not enough. And that's when it hit me. I wasn't looking in the right place. The moment that really shifted things for me was surprisingly simple. I started paying attention to what was happening in my body at night. Not just sleep, but what my body was actually trying to do while I slept. And here's the part most men misunderstand. Your body doesn't rebuild during the day. It does its most important repair work at night. Blood vessels, hormones, even circulation down there. It's all being recalibrated while you're asleep. But if you don't give your body the right raw materials before bed, that process just doesn't happen the way it should. That realization changed everything for me. And what I discovered next was even more surprising. It wasn't a pill. It wasn't complicated. In fact, it came down to something so simple. Most men overlook it completely. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a few specific bedtime strategies, including one simple spoonful that can support blood flow while you sleep and why timing matters more than you think. And number one, this is the part most men overlook at night. I almost ignored it myself at first. It seemed too simple to matter, but money ain't bomb one. But it ended up making the biggest difference in how my body responded while I slept. If you're curious what it is and how to use it correctly, I've added more details down in the description. Before we go any further, quick question for you. How old are you? I read every comment, and it really helps me tailor these videos to what you need most at your stage of life. All right, let's get into it. Let me show you the one simple spoon before bed that can start supporting blood flow down there, even while you sleep. 1. The hidden night problem. Let me start with something simple. So simple that most men completely overlook it. Tonight, before you go to bed, I want you to take 1 spoon of a nutrient-dense food, something like almond butter, and have it about 30 to 60 minutes before sleep. No pills, no complicated routine. It sounds almost too easy, I know, but this is where the science becomes very real. Here's what most men don't realize. After the age of 60, your body doesn't just lose strength during the day. It actually struggles to repair itself at night. Blood flow, especially down there, depends heavily on a molecule called nitric oxide, which helps your blood vessels relax and open. As you age, your nitric oxide production can drop significantly, and your arteries become less flexible, which means even if you're healthy, circulation quietly declines over time. Now here's where that one simple spoon comes in. Foods like almond butter contain arginine and magnesium, which your body uses to support nitric oxide production and relax blood vessels while you sleep. Some clinical data suggest that improving nitric oxide pathways can enhance blood flow efficiency by up to 20 to 30%, and magnesium intake has been linked to measurable improvements in vascular function, especially in older adults. In plain terms, you're giving your body the raw materials it needs to repair circulation overnight. And the benefit isn't just one thing, it's a dual effect. First, you support stronger, more consistent blood flow where it matters most. Second, you stabilize your blood sugar through the night, which helps prevent those subtle disruptions in sleep that reduce hormone production and recovery. That means better rest, and a body that actually uses that rest to rebuild. So here's how I want you to do it. 1 tablespoon, not more, about an hour before bed, eaten slowly, not rushed. Do this consistently every night because this is not about instant change, it's about cumulative repair. And once you understand what your body is really doing while you sleep, the next step becomes even more interesting. because there's one specific way to amplify this effect that most men never hear about. 2. The one spoon secret. Now let me show you what most men never hear, even after years of doctor visits. That one spoon before bed becomes far more powerful when you combine it with a second element, something both traditional medicine and modern science quietly agree on. Instead of taking almond butter alone, I want you to pair it with a small amount of raw honey, about 1 teaspoon mixed into that same spoon, taken 30 to 45 minutes before sleep. At first, this might sound like an old home remedy, and in a way it is. Honey has been used for centuries to support energy and circulation, but what's fascinating is how modern research explains why. Honey provides a slow, steady release of glucose to the liver overnight, helping stabilize blood sugar and support hormone regulation, while almond butter delivers arginine and healthy fats that fuel nitric oxide production. Together, they create a synchronized effect. One stabilizes your internal environment, the other improves blood vessel function. Here's where it gets interesting. Studies on arginine-rich foods show improvements in endothelial function and blood flow by roughly 20 to 40% in certain populations, while research on pre-sleep carbohydrate intake, especially low-dose natural sugars like honey, has shown better overnight glycogen support and reduced nighttime cortisol spikes. Lower cortisol means better testosterone balance, and better testosterone means stronger vascular response, especially in men over 60. But there's also a risk factor most people miss. If your blood sugar drops too low during the night, your body releases stress hormones, which constrict blood vessels and interrupt deep sleep. That's one of the hidden reasons many men wake up feeling drained and disconnected. This simple combination helps prevent that cycle by keeping your system stable while your body repairs itself. Now, here's exactly how to start. If you're new, begin with half a tablespoon of almond butter and half a teaspoon of honey for the first 3 to 5 nights, just to let your body adjust. Then gradually increase to 1 full tablespoon of almond butter with 1 teaspoon of raw honey, taken slowly, not rushed, about 30 to 45 minutes before bed. Consistency matters more than quantity, and within a couple of weeks, most men begin to notice subtle but meaningful changes. And once you understand how these two ingredients work together, the next layer goes even deeper, because what your body actually does with these nutrients during sleep is where the real transformation begins. 3. What happens in your body at night? Now, this is where things start to move faster and a bit more powerfully than most men expect. When you combine that 1 spoon with the right timing, your body begins activating a compound called nitric oxide within just a few hours, especially during the first deep sleep cycles. This isn't something abstract, you see. It's a real biochemical shift where arginine from your food is converted into nitric oxide, which signals your blood vessels to relax and expand. Let me break that down simply. You eat the spoon before bed, your body absorbs those amino acids and minerals, and once you enter deep sleep, your system switches into repair mode. During that phase, enzymes convert arginine into nitric oxide, improving endothelial function, which is just a scientific way of saying your blood vessels become more flexible and responsive. Some controlled studies have shown that nitric oxide pathways can improve blood vessel dilation by up to 30% within a few hours, and in older adults, better endothelial response has been linked to noticeable circulation improvements within 1 to 2 weeks. And here's the part most men feel first. This isn't just about long-term health, it's about performance. Better blood flow means more oxygen delivery, more nutrient transport, and that translates into stronger morning energy, improved stamina, and more consistent function down there. There are even reports showing that optimizing nitric oxide levels can enhance exercise endurance by around 10 to 15%, which tells you how powerful this pathway really is. Now, some men tell me, "Doctor, I tried something like this and didn't feel much right away," or "It's a bit heavy before bed." That's fair. But here's how I want you to look at it. If you feel slightly warmer, more relaxed, or even notice deeper sleep, that's not a side effect. That's your vascular system opening up and your nervous system shifting into recovery mode. Your body is responding. So here's exactly what to do. Take your almond butter and honey combination about 30 to 45 minutes before bed. Stay hydrated and avoid heavy sugar or alcohol afterwards so you don't block the process. The short-term effect starts the same night, but the real power comes from repetition, night after night, building stronger circulation over time. And just when most men think this is all about blood vessels, the next piece goes even deeper into a system most people never connect to circulation at all. 4. Why this spoon works overnight. Now, this next part might sound a little unusual at first, but it's one of the most powerful upgrades you can make to that simple spoon. Instead of taking it alone, I want you to follow it with a small glass of warm water, not hot, just slightly warm, about 10 to 15 minutes after. It sounds almost too basic, but this step changes how your body absorbs and distributes those nutrients while you sleep. Here's what's happening underneath. The key compound we're working with is still nitric oxide, but now we're going deeper into how it actually reaches the smallest blood vessels. When you improve hydration and circulation together, nitric oxide doesn't just increase large blood flow, it enhances microcirculation, the tiny capillaries that deliver oxygen to tissues that are often neglected with age. That's why some men notice things like numbness, slower healing, or reduced sensitivity. Those are signs that microcirculation is weakening. The process is surprisingly elegant. Arginine from the spoon is converted into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide signals vasodilation, and with proper hydration, your blood becomes less viscous, allowing it to move more efficiently through both major arteries and those smaller vessels. Some vascular studies have shown that improving endothelial function can increase overall blood flow efficiency by up to 30%, while enhanced microcirculation has been associated with up to 25% better tissue oxygenation in older adults over consistent use. And this is where men start to feel real-world changes. Better circulation doesn't just mean performance, it means less tingling, fewer cold sensations, faster recovery, and more consistent responsiveness. If you've ever felt like your body reacts slower than it used to, this is often the missing link. Now here's how to apply it safely. Start with your base spoon for a few nights, then add 100 to 150 milliliters of warm water afterward. After a week, you can gradually increase hydration slightly if your sleep remains undisturbed. Avoid very hot liquids, as excessive heat can interfere with certain nutrient stability, and if you have kidney or fluid restrictions, always adjust carefully or consult your physician. This combination builds quietly, night after night, improving both large-scale blood flow and the smallest details your body depends on. But what comes next goes beyond circulation entirely, and it's where the most powerful transformation actually begins. 5. How to use it before bed. Now, this part might sound a little different, but it's where most of the real results are either made or completely lost. Instead of just taking the spoon and moving on, I want you to slow the process down and actually hold it in your mouth for about 10 to 15 seconds before swallowing. It may feel unusual at first, but this small change begins absorption earlier through the oral lining, which can influence how quickly certain compounds start working. The key compound here is still arginine, but now we're focusing on how it interacts with nitric oxide synthase, the enzyme that converts it into nitric oxide. When absorption begins earlier and digestion is more controlled, you create a more stable release of arginine into the bloodstream, which leads to a steadier nitric oxide response instead of a quick spike and drop. That stability is what supports both larger blood vessels and the delicate microcirculation that often declines with age. Research on amino acid absorption has shown that slower intake methods can improve bioavailability by up to 20%. And studies on nitric oxide pathways suggest that more stable production is linked to improvements in vascular responsiveness by around 25 to 35% over time. In practical terms, that means better flow through major arteries, but also improved delivery to the smallest capillaries, which is where issues like numbness, reduced sensitivity, or slower tissue repair often begin. This is why some men notice subtle changes first, like warmth returning, less tingling, or even faster recovery after minor strain. Those aren't random. They're early signs that microcirculation is improving. And when that improves, everything downstream benefits, including performance, stamina, and overall energy. Here's exactly how to do it. Start with half a tablespoon for the first few nights, hold it briefly in your mouth, then swallow slowly, followed by a small amount of warm water if needed. After about a week, increase to a full tablespoon as your body adjusts. Keep the timing consistent, about 30 to 45 minutes before bed, and avoid cold drinks immediately after, since extreme temperatures can slightly affect digestion and absorption speed. One important note: if you have diabetes or are managing blood sugar closely, monitor your response carefully, especially if you're adding honey. Adjust gradually and always prioritize stability over speed. This is not about forcing results. It's about guiding your body back into balance. And once you've mastered how to use it correctly, there's one final piece, something even more powerful that determines whether all of this actually works at its full potential. 6. The most powerful night booster, tart cherry concentrate. Now let me show you what I consider the most effective upgrade to everything we've talked about so far. And honestly, this is the one I rely on the most with my patients over 60. It's not a pill, it's not expensive, and it doesn't require anything complicated, but when used correctly, it can amplify everything your body is trying to do while you sleep. I'm talking about tart cherry concentrate prepared in a very specific way before bed. Here's why this works on a deeper level. The key compounds in tart cherries are natural melatonin and anthocyanins, and together they act like a signal system for your body. Think of melatonin as the switch that tells your body it's time to repair, while anthocyanins help reduce inflammation and support nitric oxide production in the background. So instead of forcing your body to perform, you're actually aligning it with its natural repair rhythm. There have been studies showing that tart cherry supplementation can increase melatonin levels and improve sleep quality by over 30%, and some data suggests reductions in inflammation markers by up to 25% within weeks. Even more interesting, improved sleep efficiency has been linked to better testosterone regulation and vascular recovery, which directly impacts blood flow and performance. While this isn't a drug, the way it supports recovery pathways can, in some cases, mirror the long-term benefits people seek from medication, just without the same dependency. Now here's how to prepare it correctly. Take about 1 to 2 tablespoons of tart cherry concentrate, mix it with 100 to 150 milliliters of lukewarm water, not cold, not hot, and drink it about 30 minutes before bed. If you're new, start with 1 tablespoon for the first few nights, then increase gradually. Temperature matters here because extreme heat can degrade some of the active compounds and cold can slow absorption. The beauty of this is that it's simple, affordable, and easy to stay consistent with. You're not forcing change overnight, you're building it night after night, giving your body the environment it needs to repair itself. And that's the part I want you to remember. Your body hasn't lost its ability to recover, it just hasn't been given the right conditions. No drugs, no extreme routines, just small science-backed steps done consistently, and that's where real change begins. If you found this helpful, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. In this channel, I'll keep sharing simple, science-based strategies, like the bedtime routine we talked about today that helps support blood flow, energy, and confidence after 60. We'll break down what actually works, what to avoid, and how to build habits your body responds to over time. And if tonight you decide to try that 1 spoon before bed, come back and tell me how you feel. I read every comment, and your experience could help someone else take that first step.